Hey friends, and welcome back to another episode of Entitled People. We got some more Reddit stories to check out today, so be sure to like and subscribe, and let's get into it, guys. Kick my family out? Enjoy the smell. A few years ago, my family, wife, and kids went to a new country for a couple weeks, and had booked a rather nice Airbnb. It cost about $4,000 for 2 weeks, so it better be nice. Anyhow, we were offered the services of the housekeeper at $20 a day, so after 3 days I decided to call her and have her come. But right away I got a weird feeling from her, so I told her just to clean for a couple hours and I would pay her for the whole day. I didn't want her in the house when we weren't there. Well, that ticked her off, so she told the owners we had ruined the place and caused a bunch of damage. They immediately emailed me and said we needed to get out, and they were calling the cops on us and weren't refunding us. Feeling vulnerable in another country with a family to protect isn't a fun situation, but luckily we secured a motel nearby. Major downgrade, but had availability. After arguing back and forth with the owner via email, I told the host we wouldn't leave, and they would have to get the cops to come unless someone came and brought me a cash refund. So lo and behold, a property manager shows up. Actually ended up being my neighbor a few months later, and walks through the property. He can't find anything wrong with it, calls up the owners and has a big argument with them. Pays me the refund and then cancels the owners as a client. He said he had never seen someone so crazy as these owners. Well, what the property manager didn't know is that I left a bunch of sausages in the toilet tanks, so by the time the owners came back, I'm pretty sure the place will stink to high heaven. Small victories. Deliberately telling my future mother-in-law the wrong name for my baby. I, a 23-year-old female, and my fiancé, a 25-year-old male, are expecting a baby girl next month. We're really excited as this is our first child, and we've been trying to prepare for parenthood. A lot of our family have been helping us with baby stuff and giving us general advice. They're also really super excited for her, especially my future mother-in-law. She's a very stubborn person, and hasn't really accepted me as a part of the family yet. She always tells my fiancé how he could do so much better than me, and that he's fallen into the trap of having my child. It's hurt me a lot, and my fiancé has had to talk to her about it, but she still hasn't apologized or anything, so I just tend to ignore it now. She's also one of those moms who posts every little detail of their life to Facebook. Like when my fiancé proposed, she was straight to Facebook before we could announce it ourselves. Recently, me and my fiancé have been coming up with names for our little girl, and we both decided on the perfect name. A few days ago on a phone call, my fiancé accidentally slips up by telling my future mother-in-law that we've chosen a name. She's been non-stop messaging us and calling us to find out the name. We don't want to tell her until the baby is born, so that it doesn't ruin the surprise, and the whole of Facebook finds out before we are comfortable telling everyone. She tried guilt-tripping my fiancé by telling him how he's hurting her by not telling his mother the name of her grandchild, that he doesn't love her, and that we, especially me, are gonna try and keep her from seeing the baby. I'm not sure why she would think that, as nothing we have said has suggested it. To stop her from getting on my fiancé's back, I wrote a message saying that if she wants to know, she can't post it on Facebook. She agreed, and I told her a fake name. 5 minutes later into checking Facebook, I can't believe I'm going to be a granny to baby Charlotte next month. So proud of fiancé's name and his partner. My fiancé was furious, and called her and told her that she was wrong to announce it. She said that she was so overjoyed by it that she couldn't resist. He told her how that wasn't even the name, and that we aren't going to tell her until she's born, and hung up. It's been a few days, and my fiancé has been getting texts from her saying that she didn't mean it, and that I'm the a-hole for telling her the wrong name. Her words were, "Who even tells their future mother-in-law the wrong name of their grandchild?" Probably someone who knows that their future mother-in-law is a loudmouth and would not keep it to herself. And now she's the one that has to explain to everyone on Facebook where the hell she got the name Charlotte from. No matter how excited someone is about a birth happening in the family, it's really a dick move to take away the actual parents' joy of being able to announce that themselves. Good for the goose, good for the gander. So relatively soon after college, I moved to Washington, D.C. I was working in the hospitality industry, with my brand spanking new psychology degree, and barely scraping by. Looking for a better job, I applied for a position with the congressional committee, answering fundraising letters that had contained contribution checks. When I interviewed for the job, the guy, Wyatt, posed his last question, which was how much of a pay cut would I take off the advertised salary to get the job? None, was my answer, as I was looking to move ahead financially, not take a step back. He wasn't pleased with the answer, but hired me anyway. Why? Because there were multiple huge USPS canvas sacks of mail to be answered, as the job had gone unfilled for 6 months. I am a pretty hard worker and I dove right into it. I came in early, I worked through lunch, I stayed late to get all that mail caught up. Took me about 6 months of unpaid extra time to get it under control. Then one day I asked to leave a half hour early to catch a nonstop train to New York City to visit my brother. Wyatt, with whom I had a less than easy relationship with, told me I could have the 30 minutes, but he would take it off my earned paid time off. I was pretty ticked off, in that I had pretty much donated about 2 hours extra a day to my job since I had started, and had kinda thought that would mean something. Silly me. So I returned from New York City with that epiphany in mind. Monday morning, I was at work early as usual, but reading a book at my desk. Wyatt comes in early and says he wants to talk to me in his office. I put my book down, pointedly looked at my watch, and said, "Sure, Wyatt, my workday starts in 15 minutes, so I will be down in your office at 8 a.m. His turn to be pissed. Very pissed. He asked what the hell, and I explained. And I noted that if my extra work meant nothing, then I certainly wasn't going to expend it on the committee's behalf. I am sure that being told this by a 22-year-old whom he didn't like to begin with didn't sit well with him. As would be expected, our working relationship only got worse. He found every way to treat me badly, and I found every way to live by the rules, until I found another job. Entitled Karen doesn't know traffic laws. So I'm a mail carrier in a tiny town, less than 800 people tiny. I'm en route yesterday coming around an uphill turn, and Captain starts to back out from his driveway onto the road and almost hits me. I politely beep, letting him know I'm there, and he waves me the back up wave. As a mail carrier, we're not supposed to back up more than so many feet technically, but the preference is not at all, unless there's no other option. Now I am on a hill at an angle, being on the technical passenger side, that made backing up unsafe. So I shake my head no. Oh, the entitlement. The disbelief on his face as he got out of his car immediately set off alarm bells. I've seen too many Karen videos. I need to back up. You can back up and let me out, he said. I've been waiting for a chance like this, and I say, first off, sir, we have regulations against us backing up. I have several warnings posted in this van. I point to 3 different big-ass warning stickers saying, do not back up, always park to where you can pull out, avoid backing at all times. Because at this point, of course, he's walked up to the other window, and I continue with, also I'm on the road, you're supposed to yield to traffic. You just need to pull back in and let me by. He looked like I had slapped him. Oh, is that how it works? I don't think so. I can wait here all day, he said. I smiled, put it in park, and killed the motor. So can I, sir, I said. He huffed and replied, you get paid to sit here. I giggled and said, you're right, sir. I do get paid to sit here. I picked up my cell phone and opened TikTok. He started cussing and went back to his car. Instead of pulling back in his driveway, this asshole gets his passenger to attempt to help him. They let him bottom out in the drainage ditch. The thing that was the chef's kiss, though, was after I got off and stopped at the only gas station / deli / community center in the town. As I'm standing in line, I notice his ass in line a few ahead of me. In walk 3 county cops. I say, excuse me, gentlemen, quick question. I'm basically being petty, but indulge me if you don't mind. If I'm on the road and a dude decides he wants to back out of his driveway, I have the right of way no matter how bad he wants to back out, right? Because I had a douche canoe Karen do this about an hour or so ago. All 3 said, you had the right of way. He didn't cause a problem, did he? What the guy did could be considered impeding a postal employee, which I believe is a federal charge, 90% positive. I said, nah, he just stomped out the door though. I already knew that before I asked. I just wanted him to hear it. They laughed. I felt like it probably didn't change the dude's attitude, but maybe. Plus, I enjoyed that feeling of being that petty to someone who deserved it. I gave my ex-fiancé back the ring 10 years ago. He's still furious. Recently, I, a 31-year-old female, celebrated my birthday. As I moved across the country a few years ago, my besties back home and I had a video party together drinking some wine. It was a grand old time, and eventually talk turned nostalgic, and one of the gal pals brings up running into my ex-fiancé. We all reveled in the classic story, and one of them said to post here for giggles. So to begin the saga, we need to turn the clock back a decade when I, 21 at the time, was dating and then engaged to X, a 32-year-old male at the time. Hindsight, the age gap was the first red flag, among many other flags he waved like an entire color guard in a high school band. Like him making much more than me, but I in welding school full-time and working 2 jobs paid for everything. After 6 months of being engaged, I found out he was cheating with an ex of his, so naturally I called it quits. In a petty move not related to the story, she ended up being my roommate for 3 years. Pretty cool chick who I'm still friends with. A few months pass, and when it's obvious I'm not coming back, X starts a rabid campaign to get his Amazon bought $190 ring back. Mind you, I'm still in school full-time and working, so dropping the cheapo ring off was not at the top of my priorities. Eventually, I got tired of the harassment, so I gave the ring back. And then some. I sheared some half-inch thick steel plates, welded up a cube, dropped that ring in there, then welded that puppy shut. If you shook the cube, you could hear a delightful tink-tink-tink of it rattling inside. I dropped it in the mail and went on my merry way, and hadn't given it another thought until my birthday this month. According to my gal pal, X still has the cube, and has not been able to get the Amazon ring out. He's still mad as heck and likes to rant about the ordeal to this day. I regret nothing, and am filled with joy knowing I've been irritating him for 10 years now. And the ring is obviously past the return window already, so it's pretty apparent that the only reason he really wants it back is probably because he plans to use the same exact ring for his next fiancé. Well, that's all for today. Be sure to drop a like if you enjoyed, I'd really appreciate it. And also, hit that subscribe button for more. So I'm out of here, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.